Good morning and welcome to our COVID-19 Minute Clinic. I think this is the 8th in the series on COVID-19 Minute Clinics, and I'm here Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 9 a.m. till the end of May. So welcome if you just joined us. We're doing our COVID-19 Minute Clinic here, and this is for people that are maybe feeling some extreme thoughts or emotions around COVID-19. Maybe you're feeling some anxiety, maybe some worry, maybe some frustration, maybe some anger, maybe some depression, all around COVID-19. So we're here to work on a few people here today and just demonstrate how we can release some of these negative emotions or thoughts within minutes. So you can feel a little happier, a little healthier, maybe even in some cases just a little bit more at peace, a little bit more calm around this whole process. So I know that COVID-19 has had a huge impact on me in my life. It's had a huge impact on everyone, all my friends, my family. All of us all over the world are having to deal with this COVID-19. It's a new thing for me. It's a new thing for most of us to have to go through something like this. So there's been a lot of stress going on around COVID-19. People being stressed about their own health and well-being, wanting to feel safe, maybe some fear, just in general around going out in public, or perhaps maybe you're not able to work right now. So you're off work, so there's definitely some stress there, some financial stress there as well. And perhaps maybe you're not able to get together with friends and family like you normally do, or go out and visit your favorite restaurant. All of these things are all impacting us around COVID-19. So if you just joined us here today, we're doing our COVID-19 Minute Clinic here. We've been doing this for the month of May, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9 a.m. So welcome. Today I'll be looking for a couple of volunteers, just 2 volunteers, that perhaps they have some negative emotions or thoughts or feelings around COVID-19. And I'm here to help you identify those and release them. And how are we going to do that? We're going to follow a program called the Emotion Code. If you haven't heard of the Emotion Code, the first book, this is Dr. Nelson's second, actually, edition of the Emotion Code. How to release your, basically your trapped emotions to be healthier and happier. So this book was just released not too long ago, but the original book came out in 2007. With Dr. Bradley Nelson, talking about the Emotion Code. And it's interesting because as a massage practitioner and wellness consultant for many years, I was very focused on working with the physical body, helping people with all kinds of issues to do with the physical body, helping them feel better, helping them decrease chronic pain, helping them be more mobile, all those things. I was so focused on the physical body for many years in my practice that I was forgetting one very important element. And when Dr. Nelson released the book here, the Emotion Code, that was part of the missing element for me. Because what he discovered as a holistic chiropractor was that he was having patients coming to see him with different issues, and in some cases he was able to resolve these issues and help them to resolve the issues. In other cases, some people with what we would call unexplained chronic pain would keep coming back and repeating themselves and coming back for more sessions. They'd have a session, they'd feel better, and next thing you know, they're back again and back again. And so he started to research that, and because he has a background in holistic health like myself, he decided that he was going to do more research. And what he discovered was, through Eastern medicine as well, how emotions impact us. Not only do they affect our physical health, they can affect our emotional well-being, our mental health, even our spiritual well-being can be impacted by negative emotions. So what do I mean by negative emotions? Well, this chart here, this is the emotion code chart, and there's a 7-step process I use here in helping people. And the emotion code chart, I think it's showing up backwards for you on live here, but there's column A, column B. There's 2 columns and 6 rows of various emotions that we tend to hold on to, unprocess. Do we hold on to and unprocess every emotion we feel? No. If we held on to every negative emotion we felt in our lifetime, we would never feel good. Imagine being angry at a parent or something when you were 4 years old, and here you are 44, and a part of you is still holding on to that anger. And guess what? If you're holding on to that anger, part of you is vibrating at that frequency of anger. And anger is also connected to the liver gallbladder. It's generated by the liver and the gallbladder. So when people are angry, their liver and their gallbladder gets stimulated and starts to release these emotions. And they can end up anywhere in our body. They can end up in muscles. They can end up in joints and ligaments. They can end up in organs. They can end up in glands. They can affect our nervous system. They can affect our immune system, cause chronic pain, digestive problems, seasonal allergies, relationship issues, money blocks. All those things can be caused by negative emotions. And what do I mean by negative emotions? Again, when we look at the law of attraction basically states that whatever you vibrate at is what you attract. So whether it's positive or negative, whatever your vibration is, you are attracting that to yourself. And it's interesting because most of this happens on a subconscious level. So what I mean by subconscious level is we have our conscious mind and we have our subconscious mind. And the conscious mind is probably 5 to 10% of our mind. And it involves making conscious choices or conscious decisions, moment by moment, day by day, conscious choices or decisions that we make. I'll give you an example. We want to go to the grocery store, so we get in our car. We know where the store is, so we get in our car. We go out of the driveway, we turn left, we go down to the end of the block, we turn right, we go down another few more blocks, we turn left, and then we turn into the parking lot, and here we are at the grocery store. So that's our conscious mind. We're consciously making decisions or choices throughout the day on a regular basis. And then comes the subconscious mind, and that's the fascinating part. That's what we call our supermind, so to speak. So again, if you just joined us today, we're doing some live Minute Clinic sessions for people that are feeling any negative emotions or feelings or thoughts on COVID-19. We're going to work on some people here today, hopefully, and you'll get to see how this works. So I was talking about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Well, here's the interesting thing. The subconscious mind is our supermind. It's the part of our mind that knows everything about us. Everything. It knows everything we've tasted, everything we've touched, everything we've experienced, negative or positive. It's all recorded there in the subconscious mind. And it doesn't determine whether it's a negative thing or a positive thing. It just, whatever your conscious mind accepts, it becomes part of your subconscious. And when it becomes part of your subconscious, it becomes part of our reality, right? Because our subconscious mind controls how we think, how we behave, how we respond, our reactions. How healthy are we? A lot of that is determined through our subconscious mind. So I gave the example, you get in your car, you drive to the store, you consciously drive to the store. So the way the subconscious mind works, so let's say you want to go to the store. So you get in the car, you're ready to go, you know where you're going to the grocery store where you normally go. You get in your car and you drive to the store. You get to the store, And you're sitting there in the parking lot, and then you start thinking to yourself, well, how did I get here? What just happened? My mind was in a whole other place, yet I got in my car and I drove to the grocery store, and here I am sitting here right now in front of the grocery store. And how does that happen? Well, that's because we've been through that. It's part of our subconscious awareness now. We've driven to that store so many times that we can almost drive there blindfolded. So again, that's our subconscious mind. It knows and remembers everything about us from the time we were conceived. So welcome. If you're just joining us here, we're doing our COVID-19 Minute Clinic for the month of May, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9 a.m. Pacific time. My name is John Schlapbach. I am a certified emotion code and body code practitioner, a wellness consultant for many years as well in energy medicine. And I am pleased to be able to offer this to my clients, which I've been doing since the book first came out in 2007, the original book on the emotion code. I started doing this work. Even before I finished the book, I started working on myself. I was dealing with some issues to do with a past relationship. And even though it was a few years previous that I had gone through a divorce and other things, I was still holding on to some negative emotions around that. And once I got the emotion code book, I was able to identify those emotions and I was able to release them. And who would have thought? Here I am 6-7 years later, I'm still carrying some frustration or some anger or something around an event or a situation or a person. And we're all like that. We all carry emotional baggage. All of us. If you can think about every major event in your life, and it doesn't even have to be major, but every major event in your life, you can pretty well tag an emotion onto that event. Oh yes, the last time we were out visiting the family, I was so happy to see my brother and this and that, and it was such a joyous event being around family. So there's a positive, uplifting emotion. Or the last time I went to see my family, there was my brother again, and we got into an argument like we normally do, and I felt anger and I was frustrated, and when I left there, and here I am still carrying that, and that all started when I was 3 years old with my brother, and now here I am 43 and it's still happening. So what happens is, when we feel these emotions, we either process them, in others we feel the emotion, we acknowledge the emotion, or we feel the emotion and then we just kind of bury it. It's interesting because as Dr. Nelson says, every day of the year, each one of us can trap at least one emotion in our energy field. So imagine how many emotions are caught up in your energy field. And this here, what we're talking about now today is COVID-19. So how many emotions are you feeling to do with COVID-19? Are you feeling some anger? Are you feeling some depression? Maybe you're feeling worried or some anxiety or some nervousness around COVID-19. So what I'm here to do today is look for a couple of volunteers so I can do a session on them. It's a free session. And all I need from you is just a couple of things. Number one, if you can put in the comment section, by the way, just give us your name and where you're from. Be nice to say hello to you. So in the comment section, if you'd like us to do some work with you, then you can just state that feeling or thought that you have around COVID-19. Again, maybe it is worry. Maybe it is some depression or frustration. Maybe it is some panic around COVID-19. So give us that thought or feeling that you're feeling around COVID-19, or how it's impacting you or your family or your friends. Give us the severity of that particular emotion or that thought. On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 would be extreme. So for example, if you were feeling depression or depressed around COVID-19, 10 would be extremely feeling depressed. A 5 would be, yes, depressed, but not quite so bad. So give us the severity of that thought or feeling that you have and around COVID-19. Also, give us permission to do some work on you. So, and once we have your permission, then I can identify any of these emotions or thoughts and release them for you within minutes. So, and then the last part is after you've had a little session here, right here, give us a little update. Wait a minute or so and give us a little update in the comment section after your session. So welcome if you just joined us here today. We're doing our COVID-19 Minute Clinic, and this is going on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 9 a.m. Pacific, for the month of May. And just want to give a shout out here to Chloe Price, or is it Prika? I'm not sure how to say that, but welcome back. I've seen you here on our call before, so welcome back. And you're welcome to participate if you like. So for anyone out there, we're doing the COVID-19. So if you're feeling any negative thoughts, feelings, or emotions around COVID-19, then we'd like to know. We'd like to be able to help you out. Maybe help you get rid of some of this baggage. So I'll give you a couple of examples here. I was working with a lady who's feeling some depression around COVID-19, having to be at home, not being able to be at work. And so we did some work on her. We discovered there was 3 different emotions that were tied into how she was feeling. Depression was one of them. But there's a couple other emotions there, which we identified again through muscle testing in our chart. And we were able to identify those emotions and release them for her. And we were able to do something else, which was able to check her immune system as well. That's using the body code. Remember, the emotion code is the initial program and the initial program we learn, and then the master program is the body code. And so I started with the emotion code like everyone does, and then I moved into the body code. So again, the body code is the master program, which not only looks at emotions, but it looks at organs and glands, and it looks at immune systems and nutritional deficiencies. But then the emotion code is what I call the major system. Because why? Because most of the time we're here working with the emotion code. So I see we have a volunteer here, on Stephanie here. What she's feeling is some isolation from some friends here. Stephanie, isolation from friends. Remember how we talked about that a little earlier? Isolation from friends, how that can happen here. So if you want to just give us an update here, Stephanie, on how severe is this thought or feeling that you have being isolated from friends, on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 is extremely feeling isolated, or 5 is not quite so bad. Give us an idea of basically the severity of this for you that you're feeling or thinking around isolation. So she's saying it's about a 6 out of 10, this feeling isolated from friends. And I can relate to that because, I have some very good friends that I haven't seen in person for a while, and I miss them. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you noticed, but tomorrow I'm actually going to go see a good friend of mine who is, he's my barber, and he's a good friend. So just going out to see my friend and having my hair cut after months is, for me, that's an adventure. So I know how you feel. When you're feeling isolated, not being able to see friends or coworkers, it sucks, really. So she's saying, Stephanie's also saying, some days it actually feels like an 8 out of 10, this isolation. So now that I have your permission, Stephanie, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to explain how this works. Number 1, there's a 7-step process. We're going to use the emotion code chart. And then we're going to use what we call muscle testing or applied kinesiology. And muscle testing has been around since the 70s. I started doing it, learning it in the 70s from a master on how to test for nutritional supplements, how to talk to the mind through the body. So many, many books have been written on applied kinesiology as well. Power versus Force, Dr. David Hawkins is one example. John Diamond wrote all about muscle testing, a chiropractor. So muscle testing has been around for a number of years. And there was just a recent study that came out in Oxford University that said that applied muscle response testing or applied kinesiology is as accurate, if not more accurate, than our standard medical tests. So yes, why? It's because we can talk to the mind, through the subconscious mind, through the body, through muscle testing, looking for yes or no answers when we ask questions. And why? Because the subconscious knows why we're feeling this way or what's going on. So we use the muscle testing, and we have your permission to do the work. Then we also use a magnet, running it over the central governing meridian to release those or delete those negative emotions or thoughts. And most emotions, we're going to run it at least 3 times to delete that. And that central governing meridian connects to your whole body. And then we ask also that you make sure you're well hydrated as well while we're working on you. And after we've done some work, then make sure you're drinking lots of water. It helps in the process. So I'm going to have a little sip before we start here. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm going to be doing what the other part of the emotion code or body code is doing. Is the muscle testing is doing what we call proxy work. And that's what this is here today, Stephanie, and for those of you watching, this is what we call working by proxy, or it's also known as distant energy healing. So in other words, I'm able to set my subconscious out of the way, connect to your subconscious, and then start asking, okay, why are you feeling this way? Why are you feeling isolated or alone or depressed around? And it's all to do with COVID-19 and not being able to see your friends and stuff. So that's how it's going to work. So first of all, I want to make sure that I'm testable. So, and I use the ring and ring test. Some people use the straight arm test. We've seen that before, or arm out to the side, straight arm test. There's so many different tests, falling log tests. There's sway test where you can stand and your whole body sways forward or sways backward. It's one of the ones I taught in my when I was an instructor for Dr. Nelson for the emotion code seminars. That's one of the first muscle tests that we taught people, was the sway test, and pretty well anyone can do that. So, and it's one that I learned actually before I met Dr. Nelson. I was doing the sway test back in the 70s as well. So now that we have your permission, Stephanie, I am going to move my subconscious out of the way and connect to yours. So my name is John. Yes, my name is Bob. No. Am I hydrated enough here to work on Stephanie? Yes, I am. I'm getting a yes for that. Remember, we're asking yes or no questions. So this is like a lie detector, talking to your subconscious mind through the body. Okay? So can I act as a proxy now then for Stephanie K? Yes, I can. Do I have a good connection with Stephanie? Yes. Am I Stephanie? Am I John? So you see, I'm getting a yes for Stephanie here. So am I Stephanie? Yes. Am I John? No. So now that I'm connected to your subconscious, we're going to ask here, so Stephanie, this whole issue that you're dealing with around COVID-19, to do with isolation, being isolated from your friends or family, not being able to go out and meet with them personally or enjoy the activities you normally would enjoy with your friends. So I'm going to ask, how severe is that for you on a scale of 1 to 10? So let's ask your subconscious and see what it says. Is it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? It's about a 9 out of 10. And I think she said it was around, some days it's around an 8 out of 10, some days it's a 6. But we're asking your subconscious, it's telling us the severity is actually a 9 out of 10, okay? Remember, your subconscious knows what's going on. So I'm going to ask, is there a reason for this feeling, this isolation, this not being able to see your friends or your family, not being able to do all the things you enjoy to do together? Is there a reason for that? And I'm getting a yes here, Stephanie. So I'm going to ask, I'm just going to dive in right away. Is it emotional? And we're getting a yes on that. Okay, so how many emotions then are we talking about for you, Stephanie, in regards to this feelings of isolation to do with COVID-19? How many emotions, again, are we feeling around this? There's actually 4. I'm getting 1, 2, 3. There's actually 4 emotions that are coming up for you, Stephanie, around this feeling of isolation. And so now the next step, again, is I go to my emotion code chart here, and I ask your subconscious, okay, there's 4 of them. Which ones are they? Let's figure out. Is it in column A or B, or which row? Which ones are we talking about? And which organ or gland might be tied into this as well? So are any of these emotions here in column A for you then? I'm getting a yes. Are they all in column A? No. So how many are in column A here? 1, 2, 3. So there's 3 of them in column A here for you, Stephanie. So what's the first one? Is it in row 1? Yes. So row 1, let's look here. Is it abandonment that you're feeling? Maybe some betrayal. There's some forlorn that you're feeling. That's the first one coming up for you. Forlorn. And that's an interesting, because forlorn, that emotion means to be feeling sad or lonely or miserable sometimes. That's forlorn. You know, I felt that before in my life at times, forlorn. It's not sadness, simply because every emotion on this chart, every emotion vibrates at its own frequency. So anger will vibrate at a different frequency, for example, than resentment. And so, hang on here, just give me a second. There we go. Sorry about that, Stephanie. So, am I still Stephanie? Yes. So, the first one is forlorn. And what's the next one here? Is it in column A? Yes. Which row? Row 2. And row 2 is the stomach spleen, so they can impact those organs which are connected to muscles. So which one are we talking here? Is it anxiety, despair, disgust, nervous? There's some worry. So forlorn is one of them. I don't know if that makes sense to you then, Stephanie. Worry is the other emotion that's tied into this for you. Remember, there were 4 emotions. So what's the next emotion for you here? Is it in column A? Yes, there's another one in column A here. So which row? 1, 2, 3, 4. Row number 5. Row number 5 is the kidney bladder row. Very interesting, because these emotions that are generated by the kidney bladder are actually connected to your upper back, your neck, your jaw, your lower back, your core muscles as well. The bladder connects to all the muscles that run from the base of your spine all the way up to the back of your neck and your lower leg muscles. So sometimes these emotions, when they're generated by these organs or glands, show up in these different parts of the body as maybe some discomfort or pain or an injury or something. So worry is the next one, and there was, I think, 3 yes in column A. What's the next one here for you, Stephanie? Is it in row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, row number 6? That's the glandular row. So again, these emotions can be generated by glands or impacting your ability of your glands to function. Thyroid comes up a lot for people as not functioning to 100%. So which one is that one? Is it humiliation, jealousy? There's some longing there. Does that make sense? Longing. This is all to do with being isolated from your friends or family, not being able to do the things that you enjoy to do. So we've got forlorn as one of the emotions for you. The other one is worry. The next one is longing for you. And what's the next one? It's in column B. So which row is that in? Let's check here. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4? Row number 5. Again, kidney bladder. So we want to make sure your kidney or bladder are certainly happy. And a lot of times it's emotions that cause our organs or glands not to be happy. So which one is this? Is it conflict? Is it creative insecurity, terror? This is unsupported on some level, feeling unsupported on some level. Maybe you're not feeling supported by another person. Maybe you're not feeling supported by this whole situation that you're dealing with. So what we have for you, Stephanie, we have forlorn, we have worry, we have longing, and we have unsupported. And so Stephanie is making a comment here. So far it's making sense to her. So I'm going to ask these emotions then, and remember our severity was a 9 out of 10 when we asked your subconscious. So do we need to know more in order to release these emotions here for you then, Stephanie? Actually, no, we don't. A lot of times you just need to identify the emotion or the thought, and then we just delete it. Again, using the magnet and intention. So again, do we need to know more in order to release them? No. And are these all your own emotions that you're feeling? Yes. Because that's important to know, because sometimes we will actually absorb emotions from other people. For example, if you have a friend who's feeling very sad, sometimes you know they're sad, or you're feeling their sadness. Especially for people like myself that have been in the healing arts for many years, most of us are known as empaths. And an empath is someone who can feel your emotion in a sense, or feel your pain. Not that we want to hold on to it or anything, we just want to sense it, have a sense of it, so that we have a better understanding of what you're dealing with, and that helps us, facilitates us in helping you as healers in doing the work. So, again, these are all your own, and are any of them, none of them are absorbed, or any of them shared with any other people here right now? No. Okay, so do we need to know more in order to release them? No. So we're going to release each emotion, and can we release them all at once? No. Normally we need to release them, Stephanie, one at a time here. So we're going to start with forlorn. So we're going to release the forlorn. Now remember, we're running the magnet over the central governing meridian, which is connected to your whole energy field, and we're going to delete that. Usually it's 3 times for each emotion, but you know what? I'm just going to cover our bases here, Stephanie. When I release these emotions, I'm going to just make sure that we're covering all our bases. So if there's any hidden forlorn there as well, let's get rid of that for you. And any vibrational resonances of forlorn, and psychic traumas of forlorn, and shared and absorbed forlorn. So we want to cover our bases. Let's take a nice breath on that one here, Stephanie. Breathing helps in the release, because we're releasing these from the subconscious mind, and the body still has to process them. And by the way, once we release these emotions or thoughts, that particular emotion or thought is gone, and gone forever, related to that particular person or event or time, whatever. So release the forlorn to 100%. Make a note of that. And now the next one is worry here for you, Stephanie. So we're going to release that worry for you, all around feeling isolated around COVID-19 and how it's impacting you and your connection with your friends or your family, and any hidden worry around that as well, just to cover our bases, and shared worry and absorbed worry, and any psychic trauma energies of worry and shock, and any vibrational resonances of worry. And let's take a breath on that one here, Stephanie. And did release this worry for you then? Yes, we did. Was it released to 100%? Yes, it was. So we want to make sure when I do work on people, whether it's releasing an emotion or a negative belief or a thought or an idea, I want to make sure that it's getting released to 100% out of your energy field. Sometimes it isn't, and we have to go in a little deeper. But in this case, it's gone to 100%. So the next one was longing for you. And longing is an interesting emotion, because it means you're longing or you're craving for something or someone. And that makes a lot of sense when you're talking about feeling isolated. So this one is longing. And do we need to know more in order to release this one? No. So let's release that longing here for you, all around feeling isolated around COVID-19, not being able to see your friends or get together and do all the things you love to do together, and any hidden longing, just to cover our bases here, Stephanie, and shared longing and absorbed longing, vibrational resonances of longing, and any psychic trauma energies of longing and shock. And take a breath on that one. And did release that longing then for you then? Yes, we did. Was it released to 100%? Yes. So that's 3 of them. Remember, there was 4 here, Stephanie. And so the next one is feeling unsupported on some level. And this is around maybe feeling isolated, maybe feeling unsupported by the whole idea that we just can't go out and visit our friends or our family. So unsupported actually is a very, very common emotion that shows up a lot for women, feeling unsupported on some level. And I do a lot of work on women, especially as a massage therapist for over 30 years, and working with the emotion code, body code. Lots of work on women, because they seem to be more accepting of natural health and healing for some reason. Not that I don't work on men, I do, but lots of times it's women that are more accepting of this. So this is feeling unsupported on some level. And unsupported can also affect your back and your hips sometimes as well. So do we need to know more in order to release it? No. So let's release that unsupported here for you. And just to cover our bases here, Stephanie, any hidden unsupported around feeling isolated around COVID-19, any shared unsupported, and any vibrational resonances of unsupported, and any psychic trauma energies of unsupported and shock. And let's take a nice breath on that one here. and did release those emotions then for you then, Stephanie? Yes. Were they all released then to 100%? Yes. So we're going to have you take a couple of deep breaths there, Stephanie. Maybe even have some water. Have a little sip of water if you have any. Wait a minute or so, and then just update me here onto how you're feeling or what your thoughts are after that release. Now, as you notice, it took us a few minutes to do this, but I was kind of explaining the process as I was going along. But generally, the way it works, and this is why it's called a minute clinic, we just need to know what the thoughts or feelings that you're experiencing, and then we identify the emotion and delete it. So it can happen very quickly. So I'm just going to go back and check in on Stephanie here. So am I Stephanie? I'm still Stephanie here, so I need to disconnect. But before we do that, what's the severity now of this feelings or thoughts around being isolated from friends or family on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 is very severe. Is it a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? We're down to a 0 out of 10 right now. And Stephanie just reports, thank you. She really appreciates this work. And thank you for volunteering here, Stephanie, because these minute clinics are designed to give you an idea of how the emotion code, body code works, and work on a few people and get the results that we're getting. So if you just joined us, we're doing our COVID-19 Minute Clinic here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, 12 noon Eastern Time. And you can stay tuned as well. If you go to the top there, you'll see my website, visionshealing.com. And you can go onto my website if you like and have a look there. And one thing that you might see on my website here, this is called my session menu. So I'll show you here. This is a copy here. This is called session menu. And you'll notice all the different categories here. All the different categories. These are things that I've had extreme success with people over the years and doing this work with the body code, emotion code. Some examples are aching wrists, fingers, and hands, seasonal allergies, difficulty breathing, depression, frustration, feeling isolated from friends, or feeling anxiety or anxious about everything, anxious in public, maybe back pain, maybe shoulder pain, relationship issues, money blocks. So many different areas that the emotion code, body code has been used in for many years. And so these are some of the areas I work in. So you're welcome to go to my website, again, visionshealing.com, download a copy of that session menu. And perhaps if there's a few things on there that sort of get your attention, and you like to hire me to do some work for you, I do 30-minute sessions, 25 to 30-minute sessions. So imagine if I can get rid of some of these emotions that you're dealing with, to do with isolation as you were, or chronic pain, or relationship issues, money issues, even issues to do with self-worth, or procrastination. That's a big one. A lot of people feel that sense of procrastination, putting things off. There's something you want to do, you just haven't done. And most of these are all based on these emotions. That's what tends to keep us stuck or hold us back. Not only that, it impacts our family. Oh, and just so you know, Stephanie, am I John? Yes, am I Stephanie? No. So we are disconnected energetically right now, and it's something that I've been doing this for so many years. I like Dr. Nelson, my friend. We do the work and we just kind of automatically disconnect now. Whereas when I first started, I always had to make sure that I was disconnected. So we're disconnected here, Stephanie. So thank you for volunteering. Now we're looking for one more volunteer here today if we can. All you have to do is in the comment section is just give us your name and what it is you're feeling or thinking about COVID-19, and how severe is it in your perspective on a scale of 0 to 10? Is it a 5? Is it an 8 out of 10? and give us permission to do the work, and we'll do the work and then wait a minute or so and give us an update. And I want to give a shout out here as well to Gaetan. Gaetan is a friend and client, former client of mine as well, and we've had some extreme success doing some work with her over the years as well. So shout out to her as well. Hi, Gaetan. Yes, so if you just joined us, we're doing our COVID-19 Minute Clinic, and I got some news to share with you as well, some upcoming events. This coming Sunday, May the 24th, I am participating in what's called an online summit. And this will be our third summit now for the month of May. And these summits are being organized by Michael Losier, Losier. I don't know if you may have heard of Michael Losier, but he's a colleague of mine, an associate, business associate. He's been doing the Emotion Code now for a few years as well, and he's pretty excited about this work. So on Sunday, May the 24th, upcoming, we have our third in the series of Emotion Code Online Summits. There's 5 different certified practitioners taking part in this, and I'm one of the practitioners here. On the first one we did earlier May, it was all for business people and entrepreneurs, and I think my part in that was to do with procrastination. Again, it's a subject that I've helped people with for many years. And others were talking about beliefs around business or being an entrepreneur, releasing negative beliefs. There was 5 different categories we worked in. And these are, not speaking for myself, but speaking for the other practitioners, are very skilled at what they do. And I've been doing this probably longer than all of them. However, you know what? It doesn't matter how long you've been doing something, you can always continue to learn and grow from each other. And that's what I get out of these events. So these are 5-hour summits. They're on Facebook Live. If you go to Facebook, Michael Losier fan, I think it's .fan, you can join, and I'll send out a link for that here to my group members and stuff as well. So this particular one coming up is to do with health. It's all around health, different things around health. Remember we talked about how emotions can impact our health, how they can cause chronic pain, they can cause allergies, they can cause things like lowered immune systems. All kinds of stuff can happen from these emotions. So the part that I'm playing in this will be to do with resistance to exercise. So I don't know if any of you out there can relate to this, but we know we should be exercising. We know we're going to feel better. We know that exercising is good for our health, not just our physical health, but I'm going to be helping people get rid of that little resistance that they might have to exercising. And some people are working on resistance to drinking water. Some of them are working on beliefs to do with your health. So there's 5 of us. This is, again, Sunday, May the 24th, and it starts at 10 a.m. Pacific time and goes till 3 p.m. Pacific time. My part is on at 2. Each one of us will have at least 55 minutes to work on volunteers from the audience. So this is a free Emotion Code online summit. And it's going to be recorded. It will be put out on Facebook, YouTube, etc., like our other previous ones. Again, the first one was on business owners and entrepreneurs. And so you're welcome to join us this Sunday if you like. And if you want to stay tuned for my upcoming COVID Minute Clinics, starting in June, I am going to be doing these clinics again. And we're going to be focusing on chronic pain, helping you lower, diminish, or eliminate chronic pain within minutes, which I've been doing again for years, and us practitioners have been doing this for years. So, and I'll be doing some on food addictions, food or drink addictions. For example, if you have a cravings or addictions to potato chips, or maybe it's Coca-Cola, or maybe it's chocolate brownies or something, something that you have a craving for, an addiction for almost, but you know you probably shouldn't. Maybe it's bread, something that you should probably reduce or eliminate from your diet so you can feel a little better. So I'll be doing minute clinics then on helping you delete these food or drink addictions. And how long does it take? It only takes a couple of minutes, 1 or 2 minutes usually for most people, and sometimes less than a minute. I know I worked on someone to do with this a few months ago, and they liked, I think it was cheeseburgers was one of them. I think another one might have been some kind of particular snack food or chips, and there was three different things, sorry, that we worked on. And you know, she's reported back in that time she has not had a craving or even thinking about these particular foods at all. So does this stuff work? Yeah, absolutely, it works very well. And that's why the emotion code, body code is going all over the world right now. This is also why Dr. Bradley Nelson, in his latest book here, again, the Emotion Code book, you'll see there's a foreword here by Tony Robbins. And Tony Robbins is a big believer in this work. And Greg Braden, if you're familiar with Greg Braden, many people support the type of work that Dr. Nelson has developed and brought to the world. And so I've been doing this since 2007, helped thousands of people, probably all over the world, with different issues. So again, if you go on my website and you can download that session menu. It's sort of like a memory jogger. Maybe there's an issue or a few issues on there that you'd like us to address. And sometimes we can address 2 or 3 issues in one 30-minute session. So you're welcome to do that. And so again, if you just joined us, we're doing our COVID-19 minute clinic. I'm looking for maybe one more volunteer if we can, that we can work on. How is COVID-19 impacting you? Are you feeling thoughts of depression? Or are you feeling anxiety? Are you feeling worry? Are you feeling frustration around it? Maybe you're feeling some anger or resentment about having to deal with all of this. Whatever those emotions are or thoughts around COVID-19, I'm here to help you identify them and delete them within minutes. So that's why this is called the Minute Clinic here. So again, if you just joined us, feel free to put in the comment section. We did a little work with Stephanie. Stephanie was feeling a little isolated from family and friends during the process. So we found a few different emotions tied into that for her. We released them. Didn't take very long. And she just said she really appreciates the work. So we'll see. Sometimes it'll take a day or 2 for your body to process what we've done. Again, once we release that emotion or thought from your subconscious mind, that emotion or thought is gone forever. Let's say we're releasing anger. Well, guess what? What if I trapped anger, 300 times over my life? And they were all related to different people or different events or different situations. So when we're working on a particular issue, whether it is a relationship issue, whether it is a health issue, business, whatever it is, success, sometimes these emotions are caught up and been caught up on our energy field for years and years and years. So yes, you can trap the same emotion more than once, sometimes several times. I worked on someone years ago who was very severely depressed. And what I found, depression, this person had trapped or unprocessed depression many, many times over the years. So guess what? If you're vibrating at depression, what are you attracting in your life? So the more that he trapped depression, the more he attracted situations in his life that kept him in that place of depression. Why? Because it's a vibe or a vibration. All of these emotions are vibrations. So we were able to work through, it took a few sessions here, and he was able to report back that he was feeling a lot happier and a lot lighter. And as a matter of fact, he's become a fairly regular client of mine. But guess what? I was able to help him do this at a distance. He didn't even have to be here in front of me. And that's the beauty of this work. We can help you delete any negative emotions or negative thoughts around COVID-19, and we can do that within minutes. So welcome again. We're looking for another volunteer today, and thank you, Stephanie, for volunteering. We appreciate that. And if you'd like to tune in to our next ones, you can all tune into our next COVID-19 Minute Clinic, which is coming up on this coming Monday at 9 a.m. And just, tap into those if you like. Give us a little update, Stephanie, as to how you've been doing over that time frame, because sometimes it'll take a day or two, again, for our body to process that emotion. For example, if I'm working on chronic pain, let's say someone has some shoulder pain and they've had it for years, it's kind of unexplained, and we found a few emotions in there, and each time we release an emotion, it feels a little bit better, and then we release 4 or 5 emotions there that are all caught up in there, and they say, oh, it feels so much better. And then I say, well, you know what? It's going to take a day or so when we test your subconscious. Yeah, it's going to take a day or two to process this, and it's feeling pretty good now. But let's give it another day or two, and let the body process a little bit more. And quite often we report a huge reduction in pain or discomfort, or increase our range of motion, whatever. And why? Because these trapped emotions that we're talking about here can end up anywhere in our body. If you notice on the chart behind me, they can end up affecting an organ. Do you want to have an unhappy liver? Do you want to have an unhappy gallbladder? Guess what? The number one cause of right knee pain is an unhappy gallbladder. And why is that gallbladder unhappy? Because it's usually generating these negative emotions when it gets stimulated. So things like, again, anger, frustration, depression, resentment, guilt. These are things that can be generated by the liver or gallbladder. So you want your organs and glands to be happy. And one of the main reasons they may not be happy is due to these trapped or unprocessed emotions. So in the Body Code program, as I said, it's the master program. I work in 6 different categories to help people. But mostly, again, we're in that energy category, which is to do with emotions, unprocessed emotions. Most of the time, that's where we spend. Maybe you have a misalignment in your lower back, or maybe you have a digestive problem, or maybe you have a seasonal allergy or something, or maybe you're just feeling anxious when you go out in public, whatever. Again, these emotions are generated by different organs and glands, and these organs and glands connect to different muscles and different parts of our body. They can even affect nerves. They can affect tendons, ligaments. They can affect, again, organs, glands. They can affect our ability to digest our foods. They can affect our ability to respond or react in a healthy way to various situations or incidences as well. So extremely important. And if you actually go and do some research on how can emotions impact your health and well-being, there's a ton of stuff out there now. And guess what? Who's doing this? Who's helping with this? Well, that's where emotion code and body code practitioners come in. We come in to fill that gap. So as a holistic practitioner, I think I started in 1969 was when I first started learning about holistic health. And I started with reading food labels back in 1969. I wanted to know what was in the food I was buying. Anyone here do that? Yeah. I started that in 1969. So that got me interested in food, got me interested in nutrition, and I started to study a little bit more about herbs and stuff. And also then I started to learn some muscle testing, how to test myself to see if I was low on vitamin C, or if there's a particular herb or something that I wanted to take. I would test to see if it was good for me or not. Remember, the subconscious knows everything. So I started my venture it was a personal thing. I wanted to be healthy, and I wanted to learn as much as I could about health and the body. And then I wanted to start sharing that with other people. So I started to do massage. I started to do some reflexology. Maybe some of you have heard of that before, working on the feet or the hands or the ears, all those reflex points. I started doing that. And then eventually I became a registered massage therapist here in BC, which is I was a medical massage therapist for many years, a specialist. So I learned a lot about the body, but then I started to learn about the mind because I came to a realization many years ago, guess what? What runs our body? It's not the body that runs the mind, it's the mind that runs the body. So I wanted to know more about the mind. How did it work? How did it affect our body? So I started studying about the mind, and I had many mentors over the years. Bob Proctor, you may know him. He's been one of them. Zig Ziglar. Just many, many mentors over the years where I started to research the mind. And recently, Michael Losier, author of The Law of Attraction, has reminded me again of how important our thoughts are and how our thoughts create vibrations and how these vibrations attract certain things in our life. So if we're feeling some anger or some resentment or depression around COVID-19, guess what? That anger, resentment, or depression is actually affecting your immune system as well. And the more negative emotions we feel, the more our immune system can get suppressed, right? So what's the number one defense against COVID-19? Anyone know what that is? Yes, social distancing is important, wearing masks, all that. But our number one defense against COVID-19 is our immune system. We need to keep our immune system healthy. And guess what? Trapped emotions can impact our immune system. So that's something I did on some previous COVID-19s, and perhaps I'll do some more on our next one. Monday is for people that want me to test their immune system for functioning. Then we'll test it energetically, see how well it's functioning, and then we'll find out if it's not functioning where it really needs to be. We can ask your subconscious again, why? What's causing the immune system not to function more optimally? Again, most of the time it's trapped emotions. So with your permission here, Stephanie, I'm just going to go back here. I'm going to reconnect here. My name is Stephanie K. Yes, my name is John No. So we did some work on Stephanie, so I'm going to ask, before we did that work on her, Stephanie, can we ask how well was your immune system functioning? Was it functioning over 10%, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90? So it was functioning at 80, 81, 82, 83, 84%. Again, remember how they affect your immune system? And now, where is your immune system functioning after we did the work? Is it functioning over 10%, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100? So is it over 90%? Is it 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95%? So look at that. Just a few emotions re-released that were impacting your immune system as well and making you more susceptible to colds and flus and other things. Just with a few emotions, it was able to get boosted. And I check my immune system out quite often as well because I want to keep it strong and healthy. And I want to make sure that I'm clearing any emotions that I have around that. So if I'm out in the public or around people, I want to keep that system running very well. And most of the time, I'm running in the 90% area as well. Now, using the body code as well, sometimes people are low on vitamin C or vitamin D, and they need that to boost their immune system. And guess what? Your subconscious will let us know. If that's the case, it'll let us know as well. So, welcome again. If you just joined us, the COVID-19 Minute Clinic. We'll be doing our next clinic here coming up on Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 noon Eastern time. You're welcome to join us. And you can also join us on Sunday for the Emotion Code Online Summit. This particular summit, there's going to be 5 different certified practitioners working on different aspects of health. And I'll be focusing on resistance to exercise on that one. So you're welcome to join us on Sunday. Stay tuned for that. And I'll be sending out a little flyer on that. Or you can go to michaellosier.com and tag on to that as well. So feel free to tag some of your friends as well to join us in our Minute Clinics. And stay tuned for our upcoming events. And if you've had some work done on this clinic or previous clinics, feel free to join us again and give us a little update as to how you're doing. So again, I hope everyone has a great day out there. Thank you for those people that are watching and participating. And also, be safe, take care of yourself, be healthy, be well, and we'll connect with you next week. Take care.